What if I told you that the power you've been searching for has never been outside? It has always been within you. Too often we believe we are weak, trapped, or defined by our circumstances. But the truth is, you already carry a blueprint inside you, a divine design that holds your strength, your resilience, and your purpose. Today, I'm going to show you how to unlock that blueprint, step into your true self, and awaken the unstoppable force that has always been yours. This is not theory, it's your path, your truth, and your blueprint to inner power. Awakening to your hidden strength. Every single one of us carries a power within that is far greater than any obstacle we will ever face. But here's the truth. Most people never discover it. They go through life believing they are ordinary, powerless, or trapped by their circumstances. Why? Because they have not yet awakened to the truth. Your greatest strength has always been inside you, waiting to be realized. When we look at the world, it often seems like power belongs only to a few. Leaders, celebrities, or extraordinary achievers. But inner power is not reserved for the chosen few. It is not something external you need to chase. It is not hidden in titles, possessions, or recognition. Inner power is your birthright. It is already within you, quietly waiting for you to notice it. The awakening begins when you stop looking outside for validation and start looking within for truth. Society teaches us from childhood to measure ourselves against others. We're told to compare our grades, our jobs, our looks, our status. And in that comparison, we forget who we truly are. Awakening is about breaking free from that illusion and remembering, you are enough as you are. Think about the seed of a mighty tree. At first glance, it looks small, fragile, and insignificant. But within it lies the blueprint of something magnificent. All it needs is the right conditions to grow. You are the same. You carry the blueprint of greatness within you, not because of what you achieve, but because of who you are at your core. The problem is, most people never pause long enough to recognize this. They bury their power under fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. They convince themselves that they are weak, unworthy, or incapable. But the moment you awaken, the moment you decide to question those old beliefs, you begin to shift. Suddenly, what once felt impossible starts to feel within reach, awakening. G is not a dramatic event. It often begins quietly, with a question, a realization, a small spark of awareness. Maybe you hear a voice inside saying, there has to be more to life than this. Maybe you feel a restlessness in your heart that refuses to be ignored. That is not frustration. It is your soul calling you to awaken. And here's the truth. Once you awaken to your hidden strength, you can never go back to who you were before. You begin to see challenges differently. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? How can this help me grow stronger? Suddenly you realize that your life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. So today, let this be your awakening. Let this be the moment you remember that you are not powerless. You are not ordinary, and you are not stuck. You are a powerful being with infinite potential. The strength you've been searching for is not out there. It is already within you, waiting to rise. The power of awareness. If awakening is the first step to discovering your inner power, then awareness is the foundation that sustains it. Without awareness, you drift through life on autopilot, reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of thriving. But the moment you become aware, everything begins to change. Awareness is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see what has always been there. The furniture hasn't moved, the walls haven't shifted, but now you know where everything is. You stop stumbling and start moving with intention. In the same way, when you cultivate awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you begin to live consciously instead of unconsciously. Most people are not aware of the power of their own thoughts. Studies show that we think tens of thousands of thoughts every single day, and many of them are repetitive, negative, and limiting. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, life is against me. These thoughts quietly shape our emotions, our actions, and ultimately, our reality. Without awareness, we accept them as truth. But with awareness, we begin to question them. Is this thought serving me, or is it holding me back? The same is true for our emotions. Awareness doesn't mean you stop feeling anger, sadness, or fear. It means you notice them without letting them control you. Instead of saying, I am angry, awareness allows you to say, I am experiencing anger right now. That small shift gives you space between the emotion and your reaction. And in that space lies freedom. Awareness also helps you see your patterns. Maybe you always procrastinate when you're afraid of failure. Maybe you stay in relationships that drain you because you fear being alone. Maybe you doubt yourself whenever opportunities arise. These patterns are like invisible strings pulling you back, but once you become aware of them, you can begin to cut those strings and choose differently. The truth is, awareness is not just mental, it is spiritual. It is the act of stepping out of the noise of the mind and connecting with the quiet wisdom of your soul. Practices like meditation, journaling, mindfulness, or even simply pausing to breathe are powerful tools to build awareness. The more you practice, the more you notice. The stories you tell yourself, the energy you carry, and the opportunities life presents. And here's the beautiful part. Awareness creates choice. Without awareness, you live in reaction. With awareness, you live in creation. You no longer say, this is just who I am, but instead, this is who I choose to be. So if you want to unlock your inner power, begin here. Pay attention to your thoughts. Notice your emotions. Reflect on your patterns. Awareness is the key that transforms unconscious living into conscious creation, breaking the illusion of limitation. If awareness shows you the patterns of your life, then the next step is to break the chains that keep you from moving forward. And those chains are not made of steel, they are made of illusions. They are the beliefs, fears, and doubts that whisper, you can't, you're not ready, you'll never be enough. The truth is, most of the limitations you experience are not real. They are stories you've told yourself, or stories that others have told you, that you accepted as truth. Maybe as a child, you were told you weren't smart enough, and now you hesitate to chase your dreams. Maybe you failed once, and now you believe you're destined to fail again. Maybe society told you what you should be, and in trying to meet those expectations, you lost sight of who you really are. But here's the reality. Those limitations only exist in your mind. They are like walls made of smoke. They look solid, but the moment you walk through them, you realize they were never real. Think about how many times humanity has broken supposed limits. Once, people believed humans could never fly, until airplanes were invented. Once, people believed running a mile in under 4 minutes was impossible, until Roger Bannister did it, and then thousands of others followed. The impossible became possible the moment someone refused to accept the illusion of limitation. You have that same power. Every time you choose to question a limiting belief, you weaken it. Every time you act despite fear, you break another link in the chain. Every time you remind yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough, you dismantle another illusion. Breaking the illusion doesn't mean you'll never feel fear again. It means you stop letting fear define your choices. It doesn't mean challenges will disappear. It means you'll see them as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. The only real prison is the one built by your mind, and the only key you need is courage. Here's a simple practice. The next time you hear your mind say, I can't, pause and ask, is this true or is this just a story? More often than not, you'll find that it's just a story, and stories can be rewritten. Remember, you are far greater than the lies of limitation. Your soul knows no boundaries. The universe within you is infinite. The only thing standing between you and your inner power is the belief that something is standing in your way. So break the illusion, shatter the false walls, step into the freedom that has always been yours. Because once you see that the cage was never locked, you realize you were powerful all along. Aligning with your true self. When you strip away illusions of limitation, what remains is the truth of who you really are. And that brings us to the next step in your blueprint to inner power, aligning with your true self. From the moment we are born, the world begins to shape us. We are told who we should be, how we should act, what success should look like. We put on masks to fit in, with our families, with our friends, with society. Over time, we start believing the masks are our identity. We lose touch with the authentic self that existed before fear, before conditioning, before the world told us we were not enough. But your true self never disappears. It waits patiently beneath the layers, whispering to you in moments of silence, calling you back whenever you feel lost. Aligning with your true self is about removing the masks, letting go of the roles you've been playing, and rediscovering the essence of who you are. Why is this alignment so important? Because true power flows only from authenticity. When you live as someone you are not, you drain yourself trying to keep up the act. But when you align with your true self, life feels lighter. Your actions carry purpose. Your words carry weight. You no longer chase validation. You radiate confidence simply by being real. Think about nature. A rose never tries to be a sunflower. The sun never apologizes for shining too brightly. They simply exist in alignment with what they were created to be. And in doing so, they fulfill their purpose effortlessly. You too are designed with a purpose, and your power unfolds when you step fully into it. But how do you align with your true self? It begins with honesty. Ask yourself, am I living for me, or am I living for approval? Am I speaking my truth, or am I silencing it to keep others comfortable? Am I following my passion, or am I following the path I was told to follow? Thus, questions may be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. The next step is courage. The courage to release what no longer matches your true self. That may mean walking away from environments that stifle you, letting go of relationships that dim your light, or choosing a new path that feels uncertain but authentic. Alignment requires bravery because it often goes against what is normal or expected. But here's the gift. When you live in alignment, you stop struggling against yourself. You stop carrying the heavy burden of pretending. You discover a peace that comes only from authenticity. And from that peace, your inner power flows like a river, natural, unstoppable, and life-giving. Remember this, the most powerful version of you is not the one the world told you to be. It is the one you were born to be. When you align with your true self, you stop chasing power. You become power. The role of silence and stillness. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by noise, notifications buzzing, schedules overflowing, voices telling us what we should do and who we should be. We're conditioned to believe that movement, busyness, and constant activity are signs of progress. Yet, some of the most powerful transformations happen not in motion, but in stillness. Silence and stillness are not signs of weakness or stagnation. They are sacred spaces where your inner power reveals itself. Think of a muddy glass of water. When it's shaken, it's cloudy and unclear. But if you set it down and let it be still, the dirt settles and clarity returns. The same happens within you. When you are constantly rushing, your mind becomes clouded with worry, fear, and distraction. But when you choose stillness, clarity begins to rise from within. Stillness is where you hear the voice of your true self. It's where intuition whispers. It's where divine guidance flows. In the noise of life, it is easy to lose direction. But in silence, you remember who you are and what truly matters. Many great spiritual leaders and thinkers discovered their power in moments of solitude. Buddha found enlightenment in meditation under a tree. Prophets sought wisdom in the wilderness. Even modern leaders and creators often speak about how their best ideas came not while they were rushing, but when they were still, walking in nature, sitting in silence, or simply breathing deeply. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. It's in stillness that you realize you are more than your fears, more than your worries, more than the roles you play. You reconnect to the eternal part of you, the part that is unshaken by the chaos of the world. So how can you bring stillness into your life? It doesn't always mean hours of meditation or isolation. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting quietly with your breath for 5 minutes each morning. Sometimes it's putting away your phone and walking in nature. Sometimes it's pausing in the middle of a busy day, closing your eyes and asking, "What do I need right now?" The more you practice stillness, the more you begin to notice its gifts. Stress softens, creativity awakens, intuition sharpens. You feel less reactive to the noise of the world and more connected to the steady power within. And here's the beautiful paradox. Stillness does not make you passive. It makes you powerful. When you emerge from silence, you carry with you a calm strength, a centered energy that others can feel. You move through life with intention, not impulse. You respond with wisdom, not fear. Remember this. Inner power is not about how loud, how busy, or how fast you can be. It is about how deeply connected you are to yourself. And the gateway to that connection is stillness, transforming pain into power. Every person walking this earth carries pain. Pain from loss, pain from disappointment, pain from failure, and sometimes pain from wounds so deep they feel invisible to the outside world. And while pain is universal, how we respond to it is what defines our journey. For some, pain becomes a prison. For others, pain becomes a teacher. And for those who learn to embrace it, pain becomes power. The truth is, pain itself is not the enemy. Pain is an energy, a signal, a messenger. It tells you where you've been hurt, where healing is needed, and where growth is waiting to happen. But too often, instead of listening to pain, we resist it. We bury it under distractions, numb it with habits, or deny it altogether. And in doing so, we allow it to silently control us. But here's the shift. When you stop running from pain and instead face it, you unlock a hidden strength within yourself. Think of a broken bone. It hurts when it breaks, but as it heals, it grows stronger at the sight of the fracture. In the same way, your emotional and spiritual wounds, when embraced and healed, can become the strongest parts of who you are. Many of history's most powerful leaders, healers, and creators didn't rise in spite of their pain. They rose because of it. Nelson Mandela turned the pain of imprisonment into a movement for freedom. Maya Angelou transformed the pain of trauma into words that inspired millions. Even in your own life, think about the struggles you've faced. Didn't they shape your resilience? Didn't they awaken parts of you that would have stayed asleep if life had been easy? The question is not whether you will experience pain. The question is, will you allow your pain to define you, or will you use it to refine you? Transforming pain into power begins with acceptance. Stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? How can I use this to grow? That one shift in perspective changes pain from something that breaks you into something that builds you. The next step is expression. Don't hold pain inside. It festers in silence. Express it through writing, speaking, creating, or even through acts of service. When you give your pain a voice, you take away its power to control you and instead channel it into something greater. Finally, transformation requires gratitude. It may sound impossible, but when you look back and thank your pain for the lessons it brought, you release its hold on you. You see it not as a curse, but as part of your sacred journey of awakening. Remember, the fire that burns you can also forge you. The wound that hurt you can also heal you. The pain that tried to break you can become the very foundation of your strength, the energy of belief. If pain can be turned into power, then belief is the force that directs that power. Belief is the invisible energy shaping your life every single day. What you believe about yourself determines how you show up, what risks you take, and how far you're willing to go. In fact, belief is so powerful that it can either unlock your potential or bury it. Think about it. Every invention, Every movement, every great accomplishment in history started with a belief. The Wright brothers believed human flight was possible when the entire world said it was impossible. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in equality when society said it could never happen. Their belief gave them energy, courage, and resilience. Without belief, their visions would have died before they ever began. Now turn inward and ask yourself, what do I believe about me? Because whether you realize it or not, your beliefs are creating your reality. If you believe you're unworthy, your actions will reflect that. You'll play small, hesitate, and settle for less. But if you believe you are capable, worthy, and powerful, you'll rise to opportunities, push through challenges, and open doors you once thought were locked. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds of belief you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, I can't, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, that's the harvest you'll reap. But if you plant seeds of faith, I am capable, I am worthy, I am powerful, then that belief becomes the fuel that transforms your life. But here's the challenge. Beliefs are often inherited. Many of the beliefs you carry are not even yours. They came from parents, teachers, friends, or society. Somewhere along the way, you accepted their words as truth. Maybe someone told you you weren't smart, and you believed it. Maybe you failed once, and you believed failure defined you. These borrowed beliefs create invisible cages. The good news is this: beliefs can be changed. You are not chained to old stories. You can choose right now to rewrite them. It starts with awareness, catching those negative beliefs when they arise. Then replace them with empowering ones. Speak them daily, write them down, declare them until they sink into your subconscious. This is not pretending, it is reprogramming your mind to align with truth. Because the truth is this: you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. The energy of belief is not about ignoring reality, it's about shaping it. Belief turns obstacles into stepping stones. Belief turns fear into courage. Belief turns dreams into action. So today, choose your beliefs wisely. Stop feeding the ones that keep you small. Nurture the ones that remind you of your greatness. Because the moment you believe in yourself truly and deeply is the moment the world begins to believe in you too. The courage to act. Belief is the spark, but courage is the fire. You can have dreams as vast as the sky, visions as bright as the sun, and faith as deep as the ocean. But unless you act, those dreams remain locked within you. The blueprint to inner power is incomplete without courage, because courage is what turns belief into reality. Courage is often misunderstood. Many people think it means the absence of fear. But courage is not about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. True courage is looking fear in the eye and saying, "You will not control me." Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Courage answers, "What if I fly?" Think about every major turning point in your life. At some point, you had to act. You had to make a choice, take a risk, or step into the unknown. Maybe it was starting a new job, speaking up for yourself, leaving behind what no longer served you, or chasing a dream others doubted. In those moments, courage was the bridge between where you were and where you wanted to be. And here's the truth. The first step is always the hardest. Your mind will resist. It will offer excuses, delays, and doubts. It will tell you, wait until you're ready. Wait until you know more. Wait until the timing is perfect. But if you keep waiting for perfect, you'll wait forever. Courage doesn't wait for certainty, it creates it. One small act of courage creates momentum. It may be as simple as making that phone call, starting that conversation, writing that first page, or showing up even when you feel unprepared. Courage compounds. Each time you act bravely, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your power. Courage is also contagious. When you act boldly, you inspire others to do the same. Your bravery becomes a light for those still trapped in their doubts. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for the world is to live courageously yourself. But let's be clear. Courage does not guarantee instant success. You may stumble, you may fall, you may face rejection. Yet even in those moments, courage transforms failure into wisdom. Each step, no matter the outcome, moves you closer to your truth. Inaction, on the other hand, guarantees only regret. So, ask yourself today, what is one act of courage I can take right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Maybe it's starting that project you've delayed, expressing your true feelings, or finally choosing yourself over the opinions of others. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. Because when you act with courage, you send a powerful message to the universe. I am ready. And once you take that step, life responds. Doors open, opportunities appear, your inner power expands, living in alignment with purpose. You can awaken your hidden strength, build awareness, break illusions, and even act with courage. But if your actions lack direction, your energy becomes scattered. Power without purpose is like a river without banks. It flows everywhere but creates no impact. That's why the next step in your blueprint to inner power is to live in alignment with purpose. Purpose is the compass of your soul. It's the reason you are here, the unique role only you can play in this world. Many people think purpose has to be something grand or world-changing, like leading a movement or becoming famous. But purpose is not about scale. It's about alignment. It's about living in a way that matches your values, your gifts, and your truth. For one person, purpose may mean teaching children. For another, it may mean creating art, building a business, raising a family, or simply spreading kindness wherever they go. The problem is, so many people feel lost because they are chasing someone else's purpose. They choose careers, relationships, and lifestyles based on society's expectations, not their inner truth. And no matter how much success they achieve, they still feel empty inside. That emptiness is not failure. It's a signal that you are living out of alignment. Living in alignment means your thoughts, words, and actions flow in the same direction as your soul's calling. It means you no longer waste energy pretending to be someone you're not. It means your daily choices, even small ones, reflect what matters most to you. And when you live this way, you tap into a source of energy and fulfillment that cannot be found anywhere else. How do you discover your purpose? Start by asking yourself, what makes me feel alive? What lights me up even when it's hard? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of failing? Purpose often hides in the things you love, the struggles you've overcome, and the ways you feel called to serve others. Once you sense your purpose, the next step is alignment. Begin shaping your life around it. This doesn't mean you have to quit your job tomorrow or change everything overnight. It means taking small, consistent steps that move you closer to a life that feels true. Maybe it's carving out time for a passion project, speaking your truth more often, or making decisions that honor your values instead of betraying them. When you live in alignment with purpose, life feels different. Work feels meaningful. Challenges feel worth facing. Even struggles carry a sense of direction. You stop asking, what's the point? Because you already know the point. You are living it. And here's the most powerful part. When you live in alignment, your energy becomes magnetic. You attract people, opportunities, and resources that match your vibration. Your life stops being a random sequence of events and starts becoming a harmonious flow. Purpose doesn't just give you direction, it gives you momentum. So remember, power without purpose will scatter. But power with purpose? It transforms not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. Becoming the blueprint. We've traveled through awakening, awareness, breaking illusions, aligning with your true self, embracing stillness, transforming pain, harnessing belief, acting with courage, and living with purpose. Now the final step in this journey is realizing something profound. You are not just following a blueprint to inner power. You are the blueprint. From the beginning, You've carried within you everything you've been seeking: the strength, the wisdom, the resilience, the love. It has always been there. The problem is, the world taught you to forget. You were told to look outside yourself for answers, for validation, for direction. But the truth is, the design of your power was never outside. It was written into your very soul. Becoming the blueprint means embodying all that you have discovered. It's not just about knowing you have inner power. It's about living it. It's about moving through life with the quiet confidence that nothing outside you can take away what is already within you. You stop chasing power because you realize you are power. Think of it like this. A blueprint is not something separate from the building. It is the foundation of the building itself. In the same way, you are not separate from the path to power. You are the path. Every choice you make, every step you take, every lesson you learn is part of your unfolding design. Becoming the blueprint also means authenticity. It means no longer waiting for someone to give you permission to shine. It means standing tall in who you are, your strengths, your scars, your story, and knowing that nothing needs to be added or taken away. You are complete as you are, and yet you are still becoming more each day. That is the paradox of inner power. You are both whole and evolving at the same time. This final step is not about reaching a destination. It's about realizing you have always been home. Your awakening wasn't about adding something new to you. It was about uncovering what was already there. You don't need to keep searching for the blueprint. You don't need to copy anyone else's design. You don't need to compare your journey to another's. You only need to embody your truth fully, deeply, unapologetically. And here's the beauty. When you become the blueprint, you inspire others to do the same. Your presence becomes a mirror, reflecting back to them their own power. Your courage gives them courage. Your authenticity gives them permission to be authentic. In becoming your blueprint, you help others find theirs. So as we close this journey, let this truth sink deep into your soul. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not powerless. You are the blueprint of inner power itself. You are the design. You are the path. You are the proof that greatness is not found. It is awakened. As we reach the end of this journey, let us pause and reflect on everything we've uncovered together. This blueprint to inner power is not just a set of ideas. It is a living path that each of us can walk, a map that leads us back to our truest self. We began with awakening, recognizing that there is a hidden strength within you waiting to be remembered. Then we moved into awareness, the key that unlocks clarity and allows you to see the thoughts, emotions, and patterns shaping your life. From there, we faced the illusions of limitation, the walls built from fear and doubt, and learned how to break them, realizing they were never as solid as they seemed. Once those illusions shattered, we uncovered the importance of aligning with our true self, stepping away from the masks and roles imposed on us by others. In stillness and silence, we found connection, wisdom, and clarity, the quiet power that rises only when the noise of the world fades. We explored the transformation of pain, learning that what once wounded us can also shape us into the strongest versions of ourselves. Pain was never meant to destroy, it was meant to awaken. From there, we discovered the energy of belief, understanding that what we choose to believe about ourselves fuels the reality we create. But belief alone wasn't enough. We needed courage. The courage to act, to take steps forward, even when fear lingers, to show up for ourselves and our dreams despite uncertainty. And then came purpose, the compass of our soul, the alignment that gives direction and meaning to our power. Finally, we arrived at the greatest truth. You are not just following a blueprint. You are the blueprint. The design of your power was within you all along. The strength, the wisdom, the resilience, the courage, they were never missing, only waiting to be awakened. So where does this leave you now? It leaves you with a choice. You can leave this video and return to life as it was, or you can claim the truth of who you are. You can step out of fear, step into your purpose, and embody the power that has been inside you all along. Remember this: you are not broken. You are not powerless. You are not waiting for permission. You are the architect, the creator, the blueprint itself. And the world is waiting for the full expression of your power. Your blueprint to inner power is not out there, it is within you. Awaken it, believe it, live it, become it, because once you step fully into your power, nothing, absolutely nothing, can hold you back.